This is Kira of Kira K Designs, and I'm going to do a demonstration on how to crochet an edging on knitted fabric. We have a swatch here in stockinette stitch because that is common and a little easier to understand. And I'm going to start in the corner. So I usually hold my tail of the yarn in my right hand with the hook and then wrap my left hand so that the yarn wraps twice around my index finger, and then keep that finger up in the air, gripping with the middle finger and thumb. I'm going to put my hook underneath the first bound off stitch, which looks like a little V laying down. Catch the yarn and draw up a loop. And I usually start with a chain stitch, which is where I catch the yarn and pull it through the loop that I have. That's sort of like an elevator up to get to the height of the next row. Now I'm going to put my hook under the next V, catch the yarn and draw up a loop, and then catch the yarn again and pull through both. That's a single crochet. I'm going to do it again. Under the next stitch, catch the yarn, draw up a loop, catch yarn, draw through both. I'm going to keep doing this across the row. Now in terms of tension, ideally you will use the right size hook for you and your yarn so that you can put one crochet stitch into each bound off knitted stitch that you have. If you don't have a lot of crochet hooks and you don't want to go out and get more, you could skip a stitch every so often or work 2 stitches in one place every so often so that you get a nice even edge. Your goal is something like this where it doesn't look like the crochet edge is stretching out the knitted fabric. It doesn't look like it's bunching in. I'm using a different color here so you can see the variation in the 2 fabrics. So I'm going to keep going to the corner. I really like a crochet edge because it gives you a nice clean finish on a knitted fabric, especially if you do 2 rows. And it doesn't roll out and it doesn't look like a different texture. It doesn't bump out the way that a rib or seed stitch or other knitted edging would do. It's a really nice clean finish, so I've used this on quite a few of my patterns. Now, if you're coming to a corner, depending on what your instructions say, I'd always trust your pattern. But if you're just at a corner and want to turn the corner, usually you'll work anywhere from 3 to 5 stitches in that same corner spot to turn the corner. Your pattern should tell you, but if it doesn't, I would try something. I'm going to try 4 and see how it goes. And then continue down. Now here on the side edge, you still want to work under 2 strands, which is basically 1 stitch from the edge, but it might look a little bit more jumbled than the bound off stitches did. I think that corner worked pretty well. Now the tricky part about going on a side edge is you don't want to put 1 crochet stitch in every knitted row because knitted stitches aren't square, and if you put 1 stitch in every row, whether you're picking up and knitting or crocheting, you'll end up with sort of like a ruffle where this is really stretched out with lots of edging in there. So probably every 3rd or 4th time you're going to skip a stitch. I'm going to skip this last blue one, go into the green. I'm going to do maybe 2 or 3 more and I'll skip again. And I'm being a little bit unspecific about this because you really want to just feel your way. It doesn't matter generally if you have the exact right number of stitches. You might need to have a repeat, but you probably don't need to have a particular number. So you want to see what you get so that this again isn't stretching out and isn't squishing in. You want to make it to be a nice smooth fabric. And the nice thing about crochet, if something goes wrong, take out your hook, pull out 1 or 2 stitches, start again from there. And then again in the corner, probably 3 to 5 stitches to finish that up. And then in general, I would always suggest with any edging do a little block, but that looks like that'll lay flat once I've blocked it.